posting very much. I've been real busy lately, and unfortunately YouTube is one of the parts of my life where it's kind of easy to scale back for other things. But I'm here now, and whilst I have been busy, I haven't been too busy to go and pick up a couple of sweet, sweet holes. So what I've got to show you today, I got across 3 pickups. Oh, it's a good box. The first kind of hole that I hit on, anyone who watched my Collector Zone hole and hunt might remember May, who I think I said in that video, I'd gone and gotten some stuff of her before, and her kids just had such a sweet, sweet collection of toys that there was still more for me to get. So she came down on some of her prices, so I thought I'd better go and pick some stuff up while the getting's good. And I got this is the box of all the stuff. The first thing that I got from May that I was really excited about was some Skeleton Warriors. This is, right, this will thicken out that herd. We got some display action going now. Oh god, this is such a good toy line. Look at the detail and the sculpts of these guys, and like the bone weathering. That's some apps, man. That's some 90s apps. So obviously, Baron Dark, great get. Got his cape, got his little skulls, his shoulder pauldrons. None of them came with any accessories, but I can live with that. I'm not, y'all know I'm not like that. I just like other toys. We got Iron Maiden artwork guy, and we got Oracula. He is missing his little goldy things on the side of his head, but he's got all of his arms, and he's got his breastplate, so that's still pretty dope in my opinion. As cool as those are, the real awesome get for Skeleton Warriors. Skeleton Legion Warhorse in box, yes please and thank you. It's not sealed. It's not MISB. Also in that pickup from May, I got another one of these awesome special collector edition 12-inch collector hero edition collectors. This one is Spider-Man. It's kind of like both Ben Reilly costumes, which is awesome. I'm a massive Scarlet Spider fan. In that new Spider-Man game that came out, the second I unlocked the Scarlet Spider suit, I just wrote out the whole game like that. What's kind of funny about this set in particular is rather than Scarlet Spider having like the hood to his hoodie, it's just frayed, and the fraying of that collar makes it look a lot like Kermit's collar. I'm Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. But this is great, because that goes with that Wolverine that I also got from May, so that's pretty dope. Now May's good, great value. She was really keen to push anything on me that she could get me to take. She had a whole bunch of RoboCop stuff. I do like RoboCop, but it's not like I have no real interest in starting a RoboCop collection, but she did push me into getting this bad boy. But I figure if you're only going to have one RoboCop figure, I felt like this was a pretty cool one to have. Like just a dope sort of, you know, what is he? Probably 8-inch scaled. I don't know. This is one of those toys, it's just a cool toy. Like, I don't think you have to necessarily even be that into RoboCop just to appreciate the toyetic quality of it all. The last thing that I picked up from May has got to be a contender for my new most random action figure. Yeah, that's right. You're looking at a Kung Fu Kangaroo. I'm pretty sure it's the wood guy from Warriors of Virtue. Pretty sure that's what it's called. But another case of like awesome 90s paint apps, like especially the sort of the texturing and the washwork on the kangaroo-y bits, or the airbrushing. It's probably airbrushing, to be honest, than washing. I don't know. Whatever. It's a material. Kung Fu Kangaroo, right? Represent. The second joint I managed to hit up and make multiple purchases at. It's a tale of victory as much as it's a tale of woe and close encounters. So on one of like, you know, the local trash treasure apps, like Australia style, it's called Gumtree. That tracks, right? Having a scroll scroll, and I see some Mighty Max. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'll see what else they've got listed. It looks like they've got like 130 or odd listings. And then I see a whole bunch of 90s Toy Biz Marvel stuff, as well as, and this is what would have been just so sweet, they had 3 Toxic Crusaders with their card backs and every accessory. That would have been quite the get. So whilst, message quickly, I'd missed out there was still quite a lot of other El Primo Dolce merch to be had. What I did get by way of 90s Marvel Toy Biz was a lot of Water Wars stuff. I got Iceman, which I'm pretty sure this exact mold was just given a new head and used as Carnage in the Spider-Man Water Wars. But, you know, it's sweet. It's when he had that awesome, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to assume Jim Lee came up with the no-mouth Iceman. If I'm wrong, someone will correct me, but doesn't that just feel real Jim Lee, that design? I don't know, just saying. I already have one, but can you have too many Sentinels with that line? You can't have too many Sentinels. Now they're cool, and like, my first one doesn't have the Gabba Wrecking Ball Absorbing Man arm. It just had the cannon arm. This one has both. Yeah, I did get one more little thing from Water Wars. The Water Wars playset. It's so dumb. Right? Like, is this clearly not just a jet ski towing this weird pontoon? I can't think of many members of the X-Men whose game is really elevated, or many enemies that you'd be versing where this is something useful. But I love playsets so much, and there's not a huge volume of 90s Marvel playsets. There's the Daily Bugle, there's the Danger Room, and there's the Kingpins thing, but none of them are amazing. I do want to get the Daily Bugle again, right? I'm sure it floats in the pool. I'll have to check it out. You can shoot discs when you launch and load discs. It's got these handy safety pulls. I'm assuming when it's sitting in water, this sucks up and shoots. You can put people into this center bit, and then when you pull this, a trapdoor releases and they get pushed into the water to dive, I guess. It doesn't seem as expedient as just hopping off the edge, especially when you've got this. Poo! Which I think would just launch you directly into whoever's riding the jet ski for the X-Men summer fun. Are you ready to take on the X-Men Beach Challenge? This is a little bit of a weird one that I picked up there as well. TMNT, what are they? Are they super mutants? Or am I getting Fallout confused? Mega mutants? Some kind of super mega ultra samurai mutant thing. It came from like, this line is part of the Japanese OVA that they did with Turtles where they, you know, morph up. It's not a line I ever had any super interest in collecting, but this was such a good price and it looks so cool and so weird. Like, why do so many like 90s toy vehicles incorporate that character's face or mask on the front? It's like that Wolverine cycle. I can't think of anything less Logan than having his own face on the front of his motorbike, but this is a similar deal. So I feel like I need to get the Super Mutant Raphael, so at least in a display I can have the corresponding figure sitting on it for that awesome toy kitsch sort of appeal. Phew. This haul was so varied. They had so much stuff. They let me into their garage, and then it was just... I literally felt like a Boo in the Cave of Wonders, just like, a Boo, no! I also got some Dragon Ball Z figures that I didn't have. I feel like these toys, right, are clearly just old Japanese ones that when we finally got Dragon Ball Z for our market, they're like, dust these off, let's pump these out. So there is something about the design aesthetic of this era figure that I do really enjoy. So I managed to get Gohan and Frieza, because you can see me holding them up. One that I'd always wanted but never got was the Broly. And just like, ugh, those arms, it's bad, right? These are bad toys. But in their badness, are they perhaps also? And then the era of DBZ figures that I personally prefer to collect is like when it got to the Jack specific sort of figures, when they added that extra degree of articulation with more modern sculpting, molding, pouring technologies. And so to that end, I got Raditz as well. I do have Nappa, so I feel like they'll go really nicely together. He doesn't have his Scouter, but like, who has those Scouters anymore? I don't. I don't have any of my Scouters. And I used to have over 9,000! Like I said before, the first thing that caught my attention with this was some Mighty Max, and I didn't actually have any intention of getting Mighty Max, but Mighty Max has been on my mind lately because one of my brother's friends, I don't know if people in other countries have, you know, council pickup, Verge collection, bulk rubbish pickup, but it's basically all of your stuff that's kind of too big and too junky for the regular wheelie bin. You chuck out in the curb and the council comes past and gets it. And so, you know, a lot of people go diving through, you find some awesome stuff. Oh God, I love it, right? It's just the collector in me. You're like, ooh, I'm an American picker. Anyway, he was visiting his grandma. His grandma's neighbor had put out a whole bunch of stuff for bulk rubbish. And part of it was like this bin tub of like 15, 20 Mighty Max sets with most of their bits and like some Beast Wars figures and stuff. And so just the phenomenal nature of that find got me on a Mighty Max trail. So while I was there, they were giving me really good deals. I also picked up some Mighty Max. So I got this Ice Alien one. I can't quite remember what the set's called, but I got this particular set because this is one of the ones my brother had when we were little. So it was cool to see it again and get it again because, as I'm sure a lot of other fellow collectors will know, there's something really satisfying about getting a toy that you had when you were a kid that's been lost to the sands of time, but you can like recapture a little bit of that nostalgia. You know, it's like Rose. I also picked up, I think he's called Mugma, because these ones are pretty cool. I think with this range of Maxes, the idea of the figure was always kind of cooler than the actual execution of it, because you couldn't really pack that much into them like this. But I don't want to get a big Max collection, but I would like to kind of have one at each sort of point. And then what was cool, which they were nice enough just to kind of throw in, was one of the Shrunken Heads. I actually had this particular one when I was a lad, and he's Max recovered. Is that not exactly what happened to everybody's Max minifigs? That just that scenario. I can remember I had the Wolf playset, and I can remember Dad was a builder and we had to go to one of his job sites to hang out for a while. Anyway, I was playing with Max in the sand and I buried him for a second, and then I could just not find him again. And that's how my set became Maxless. Without him, it was just some aliens going about their alien-y business. There was no one, no instigator, no troublemaker.
Yeah, what is he, some sort of an instigator? That's right, he's a troublemaker.
On that same day, I also then beelined, and this was dope. I managed to get Magus, Mighty Max Magus. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Ham, that's not a very complete Magus, right? What makes that worth it? Well, he comes with, I'm fairly certain from what I looked at, all of his minifigs. He's got all of his internal bits. From what I could tell, all he's missing is the missile and the crab claw hand. So what I did is, the second I got this, I hopped on eBay and I found someone who had a pretty well destroyed Magus that just happened to have the pieces left over that I needed. And so because it was so cheap, getting 2 Junker Magus has ended up being better value than if I just bought a complete Magus. So that's how you do it. And then I'll combine what I don't need into a secondary Magus that then someone else can have the opportunity to do just what I've done and complete their Magus. And the circle of collecting continues. That brings us to the last stop on our hunt and haul tour of Ham's recent archaeological acquisitions. While we're on the mini thread, right, after I heard about that guy's pickup, I then saw the chance to get a couple of the turtle heads. Oh yeah! Because I love playsets anyway, getting to see the little dudes all like this and set up, like, I've got my giant playset wall, but it's nice to be able to enjoy that on a micro scale. What is this? Center for ants! Yeah, see? Look. Here's a baggie of all the bits. Every bit, right? Boom. To the eagle-eyed nerd amongst you, you might be looking and thinking, hey man, that bag's been laced with something else. Those look like some Turbomaster bullets. And you would be correct. Now, I know a lot of peeps think of the Turbomasters G1.5 as being European exclusive. And you're kind of right, that's partially correct. Australia, yeah, that's where I'm from, if you haven't picked that up already. We were lucky enough to be on the receiving end of that too. So I, as a kid, and my brother, we were lucky enough, we had Boss, and I think he's lost most of his bits and broken. We had a Rotorstorm, which I think I've hit on before. He got quite broke. And I had Thunderclash, and most of his bits disappeared in the Great Toy Chest Massacre of 90-something. So it was really cool to have the chance to be able to get a couple of those guys again and complete. So I got Boss with weapon, with bullets, which is awesome because I love the 90s of these figures. Like, oh, that hot pink, that Energon pink plastic is just phenomenal, and that is some dope ass light piping. I could get lost in those eyes. Lost in those eyes. Lost in those eyes. I also got, I'm pretty sure his name is Blaze. Now, the reason he's staying in vehicle mode is because I'm not sure if it was already a bit damaged when I got it, or I'm not sure if the combination of my ham fists and 90 see-through plastic led to the incident, but I don't know if you can see. His shoulder is mounted to a clear plastic panel that's been painted, and it's snapped off, so his arm's not actually attached. I will do some, you know, ratchet style surgery and hopefully, you know, maybe even be able to get rid of a nasty burr in his rotator cuff. But until such time, he's gonna have to just stay in awesomely 90s Back to the Future kind of cut. And the piece de la resistance, a complete Rotorstorm. Oh yeah. Jingle jingle. He's got those rotors. Now, they're a bit broken, so I don't mess with them too much. But other than that, like, man, come on. He's got his original sticker apps and everything still going on for him. Even on the tips. He's got both of his blasters and, as we established, all of those sweet, sweet bullets. With that neon pink attitude awesomeness, that brings us to the end of this haul. I hope you enjoyed looking at some sweet stuff. Right, hopefully it brought back some cherished memories for some of y'all. Hit me up in the comments, let me know what you thought, and subscribe. Call upon the forces of nature.